creating this coaching business where I want to help other hospitality leaders manage or deal with potential burnout or constant pressure or just an enormous amount of stress. I think it's only right that I share where I was when I was on the cusp of burnout, just before I did burn out and I did hit a wall and I ultimately chose to walk away because it was for the best of my mental health. Now, I can't ask anybody to share. I can't ask anybody to want me to come on their journey with them unless I tell you where I was, so you can relate with me, so you can understand that I have the ability to understand where you're coming from, so we can move forward. We can help create a different mental environment so we can cope with what our business or our jobs throw at us without it being overwhelming and causing us pain. I was 38, married with a 6-month-old child. I owned a pub that I'd owned for 13 years, an award-winning fine dining restaurants that I'd co-owned for 6 years, and we just launched a new extension to the restaurant, which is like outside catering. And God, you know, people that I was responsible for, as well as, you know, jointly responsible for others, 30, 40 people, staff-wise. As well, on top of that, you can imagine everything that goes with running 3 businesses. Now, I wasn't actively working inside any of those businesses, so I was probably behind the scenes. There's a lot of jobs you have to do, but also carrying the guilt and the kind of shame of not being good enough because I wasn't showing up every day and putting on my whites or serving customers. I tried to people please, to fill that void, be that person that can take jobs of other people if they're stressed and they're dealing with what they have to deal with in the business because they can't think of anything else, patching up the holes. So we're 3 businesses deep. We've got a new child. We're running around like a fucking lunatic, trying to make everybody happy and trying to deal with my own shame and guilt and people please. On top of that, we're balancing books. It's hard to make money. You know, we've got to pay staff. We're still thinking of new initiatives, new creative ideas to keep people engaged. And then away from that, you go home, you've got no sleep, you're drinking far too much. You're not showing up in your relationship like you should do. So home's not great. You know, you're butting heads with your business partner because really you're under too much pressure. You've put the pressure on yourself. You're hungover, you've got lack of sleep, and you've got about 1 million things that you're worrying about. And 500,000 of those things you're worrying about aren't even fucking real. So your head is just completely banging. And you've been doing this for 10 years plus, 6 years with multiple businesses, and you've just launched a 3rd, and you have no idea what you're doing. Deep down, and the voice in your head is going, what is going on? I have no idea. I'm scared. I'm stressed. I'm out my depth. This is semi out of control. But everybody looking in thinks it's fucking brilliant and we're killing it. And the restaurant's got a great name and we're picking up awards and the pub is chocker and everyone wants us to cater their wedding. But inside of me, I'm cracking up and my body is giving in. My mind is just running on autopilot every day. I'm just thinking about the next step. I'm dropping balls. And it's becoming a lot. And I can just hear this voice going, this is not good, this can't continue. But I'm just ignoring it because the noise of everything around me is just too loud. But I could feel it coming. I wasn't present at home. I didn't create a bond with my child yet. I just knew something wasn't right. I was drinking far too much. And my business partner, he could see it from a mile off, do you know what I mean? I'm sure other people could, but we were too busy to stop. Everything had to carry on. meet expectations, be the version of yourself that everybody else needed. Fucking forget you. Just carry on. This can't stop, otherwise it all stops and comes crumbling down around you. And then, biggest fear, you're a failure. So without any understanding of what's going on, any guidance, any support, not understanding anything about mental health or burnout or dysregulated nervous system or balance, I just fucking ploughed on. I cracked on. Busier, harder, let's go. We maintain, we'll get out the other side. And I always remember the day it happened. It was the morning after we'd just finished a huge 5-day catering event experience. And it was the biggest challenge. It was a huge success, but it was a huge challenge. We pushed ourselves. We were talking, 14, 16-hour days. It was a big, huge event. And I woke up the next morning after getting drunk after the event till probably 4 o'clock in the morning. Don't go home and get some rest and see your family. I remember waking up the next morning, partner and child gone out of the house, and I broke down in the shower and I cried. I forget how long for, but it was long enough for me to go, what's going on? But I felt numb. I didn't know what it was, except for I knew something had ended. I just knew. So I phoned my father for some reason, because at the time, he is now my mate, you know what I mean? And I just said I had to meet him. So we met in a park. I told him that I was done. I was broken, I had nothing else to give. And that I needed to start all over again on my own. I need to understand who I am and what for. That day, I chose to walk away from my wife. At that time, I didn't know. It's just something I had to do. I had to distance myself away from everybody. A couple of weeks later, I made the decision and told my business partner that to walk away from the restaurant. Not ideal. I've hurt 2 people now. I've let 2 people down. I've changed 2 people's lives. But I just had to do something. I couldn't continue doing on or pretending to continue to. I had to stop. It got that bad. I was that scared. I was that broken and burnt out. I just had to stop. And I had to get away and I had to find me. Now, what everything that goes with leaving your wife and leaving your business, you can only just imagine. I ultimately sold my pub after that as well. And I moved back in with my parents and I went to therapy to figure the shit out because I didn't have a clue and I couldn't move on with the rest of my life without understanding. 10, 12 months of therapy was the best thing I ever did because I forgive myself. I understood who I was and why I was that way. And I learned who I am and who I can be moving forward, how my mind and body works and how to take care of myself. And then from there, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to gain more knowledge. I wanted to get more in tune with myself. So that's what I did. I picked up books. I listened to podcasts. I ultimately, when I got qualified as a spiritual life coach, a trauma coach, and a meditation teacher, because I believe in 2 things. I believe in 3 things. I believe in understanding what happened and why, how we can live from the present and maintain a balanced lifestyle while still wanting to be ambitious and progressive in your life and be a better person. And I also massively believe in regulation and balance so we can maintain ourselves, get in tune with our bodies and our minds and work from that place of balance. Then you just rock up so much more powerful, so much more at ease because you know who you are, why you were the way you were, but who you really are and how you can move forward. Balanced. That was a short one, but it gives you an overview of where I've been. And I can really sympathise where a lot of you might be. And your mental health is worth it. Burnout isn't worth it. Regulation is worth it. Talking is worth it. Stressed out your box is not worth it. And somebody like me now with the lived experience and the qualifications of understanding how we can change this, I believe I'm the person to help support you and guide you on a journey so you can get to where you probably really want to be deep down and reconnect with yourself. So I believe you deserve that story from me, that vulnerability and honesty from me. Now, if you want to go on that journey yourself, you just have to let me know and we can continue to talk to see if I'm a right fit and we can start this journey together.